Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be on the programmer, and this is how we do all of our programming. I know that this kind of sounds like lighting gibberish if you've never heard it before. Essentially, programming is how we create lighting designs, and I'll say programming a lot in these videos, or programmer. Just know that this is what I'm referring to. This is what the action I'm referring to. And we'll get deep into programming into other videos and how to make it easier. But this video is going to go like essentially over what the programmer is, its quirks, how it works, and that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. You can see my lighting console here. Essentially, the programmer is this bottom right-hand corner. The bottom right-hand corner will kind of show you every attribute that you can edit, and this is present on all consoles. Some consoles have physical buttons to select different attributes. They have physical wheels. Just depends on your console. If you look on the console overview videos, which will be coming in the future, have not shot in the present, they will kind of explain like where all the stuff is. But on the Titan Go interface, we see our wheels here, 1, 2, 3 wheels. They will edit things that are below them in each menu. We have our different attributes up here. I'll go through them real quick. We have I, stands for intensity, and that's just like the on-off of a light. We have P, stands for position. That's movement, so like lights that can pan and tilt. Pan is side-to-side movement. Tilt is up and down movement. Those are camera terms if you've ever used a camera. If you're coming from the camera team, you might know those terms. C stands for color, and that's just the color of an RGB CMY light that can be set. We'll show you that in a second. Gobo is a little bit of a lighting specific thing you might never have heard before. Gobo, imagine that you have a light. Here, I'll use my flashlight, okay? So if I'm turning the flashlight on and putting something in front of it, I'm blocking it. But if I move my fingers in front of it, you can see that it is like the light is shining through the slits in my fingers right there. So imagine you put a piece of paper with some holes poked in it, and you held that in front of my flashlight. That's essentially what a gobo is, except instead of a piece of paper, it's a piece of metal or a piece of like dense plastic with holes through it, and they make some pretty designs and stuff. And lighting manufacturers, they make tons of different gobos. Sometimes gobos are replaceable, all that stuff. I could really go into it deep, but I'm not going to go too much farther. Just know that it's like a piece of paper held in front of a light, essentially. B stands for beam. This is zoom, focus, those kind of things. We'll go into that in just a second. E stands for effect. Effect is where you're going to find things like prism. Prism is like splitting lights into multiple different things like you did in science class. So you took a prism, shine a light through it. It splits the beam into multiple different rays, except in this case, most of the time lighting manufacturers don't split it into like a rainbow. They split it into like just separate beams of the same light. S stands for special. This is like special attributes of a light. Maybe you turn the screens off or you turn the fans up high, that kind of thing. Most of the time, you're never going to have to touch special. FX stands for effects or shapes. They didn't call it shapes because that would be two S's. Some consoles have a button that says shapes, not FX. So just know that if you click the shapes button, it might be meaning this, not S. And that's useful to know whenever you're including stuff. There's going to be a whole video on including. Just dash that back in the back of your mind for right now. Okay, let's start programming some stuff. So essentially what the programmer is like a clipboard. And so like, a clipboard on your computer, it's where you store things in like null space for copying and pasting and stuff like that. So this null space is where the programmer exists. So let's do this real quick. Let's grab the R2s. I'm going to locate them. When I locate something, you see that nothing lights up on the programmer. Things only light up on the programmer when I click them. So I clicked dimmer up to 100 and then it lit it up. That means that that attribute is now in my programmer. If you just locate something and then record, it's not going to record anything depending on what record mode you're in. I'll talk about record modes in a second. So if I pull this up, nothing's going to happen because I didn't record anything. Even though the light was on, I didn't record an intensity into it. So we're just going to pull that out. We're going to delete that real quick. So what I could do is if I locate, turn the dimmer on, and then I take their pan like all the way over here for whatever reason, and I tell them to be green. Now if I record that here, see that? And that was what was in my programmer. There will be another video on record, so just hang tight on that one. We're not really, I'm just recording for the sake of showing like what's in the programmer. I'm gonna delete that real quick. So yeah, so let's just take a look through here. We'll go intensity. You do have things like shutter and strobe on intensity. You can also, sometimes there's a separate intensity page. Like if we go to the R2s, they have a second intensity page for master dimmer, which you can set. For people with R2 specifically, don't touch the master dimmer. Leave it at 100. You're gonna confuse yourself later if you start using master dimmer and then like, why won't my lights turn on? It's because you set the master dimmer to like 0 on one song and it carried over or something like that. So just be wary of those kind of things. Let's see, we'll go to force profiles again. You can change the color here. These things can be modified by clicking the wheels and dragging left or right like that. Like that. And you can see how, like, right now I've only recorded in a cyan and magenta. If you don't record in all colors, then you might like screw yourself later because you like forgot to record in yellow, and then a yellow attribute from above in a queue list or from a different queue altogether is overriding your base yellow. So just be wary of that as well. Gobos, let's set these back to white, and we'll put these kind of like there so we can see the gobos. Here's what I was talking about before. You see like fun designs, and these ones on this light are named. You won't find that in most lights. It's just that Chauvet is really cool. And what I was talking about before, having second pages. So if you click on Gobo again, you see that there's a Gobo 2 page. Sometimes the Gobo 2s, they have different attributes, like this one has colors. That's cool. Love that. Most lights will not have that on a Gobo. But you can also see that there's Gobo functions like spinning that you can set here. And if you see my mouse hovering over this, on Titan Go, you can use your scroll wheel as a wheel, which is nice. It just doesn't scroll very fluidly. So we don't have a Gobo on, but once we put on Gobo 1, you can see it's ever so slightly spinning because it's only 9%, but we can make it go way faster. See, wow, so fun. Then we can get that dot spinning or those things. You can also affect this with the zoom. So you can see like, oh wow, that Gobo's getting real big because we're zooming way out. Or we can zoom in and you see it's really small but still twinkly. Focus is something that I'm not going to be able to show you on this capture visualizer thing because it's always in focus for whatever reason. Focus is like, on camera terms, is the sharpness of an image, but on lighting terms, it's the sharpness of the beam of the light. So whether you're looking at it, like if the beam was coming at us like this, it would be like how sharp the beam is coming at us, and or how sharp the image is on the floor. It's kind of hard to explain. You'll have to get into your room and really play with that. So we'll show you the effect real quick. Let me locate these again. Get it back to the normal spot. Put them out there. Let's see. Let's zoom them in real quick so hopefully you can see it. if you turn the prism on, you can see that it kind of split the beam into multiple, and then I can spin that, or you can take it up and just turn on a fixed spin like that, and it will spin. This is a great way, let me click through these, using zoom to get a really wide light beam, or maybe you're at like a campus like Anderson, Blunt, or North, and you have MH4s. MH4 are a spot fixture. They have like a fixed beam. They can't zoom, but they do have a prism. So you put a prism, and I think their prism is like an 8-facet prism, which means it splits the beams into 8 lights. This one looks like it splits the beam into 4, so it's a 4-facet prism on here. But that is a great way to expand your light when you don't have zoom. So just, play around with that, see what you like on there. Let's see there. I'll show you the special on here. Pan tilt speed, you won't really have to touch that, but as you can see, there's all these control things. These are also available in the attribute editor, so you might never have to touch that there. Effects only lights up whenever you put on a shape, so I'll just click through and put a shape on, bam, and that pulls up its own editing window over here that is editable on the wheels. But you can still get out into other attributes. Just once you click here, then it gets you over to these as well. So yeah, that's that. We'll have a video on recording as well, so that you can actually save what you have done in the programmer. Right now, it's just in that clipboard null space of it exists and it's on the lights in the room, but it doesn't stay unless you record it. So we'll talk about that in a future video. So you all have a great rest of your day. I will see you soon. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions.